In our today's discussion, we are going to talk about QlikView from an overview perspective and see how does QlikView really differs out in the category of its competitors in the BI arena. This session is primarily meant for people who have never used or experienced QlikView and want to know more onto the business aspects of QlikView. If you are already an experienced user of QlikView, I would suggest to skip this discussion and move on to the next in our course. So why QlikView has been so popular? Why do people need QlikView? And how does QlikView really stand out in the whole competition arena? And how does it really differ out with respect to the other products in the market? Let's discuss some of those parts. So as we all know that the industry has been quite dynamic over the last few years, and there has been a really explosive growth in terms of the digital data that we can now store on every unit space of the hardware available. So right from 2000 to 2010, there has been an exponential growth in terms of storage capacity, and the companies and the organizations are now able to store a lot of data in a very, very small space. And moreover, we have seen that the proper business users, or let's say the people who really want to get a quick insights about the data that they have, most of them are actually non-BI users. The share of the potential BI users is still 28%, and the traditional BI users is even less than 1%. Another challenge is that so far the industry time or the industry average deployment time for a traditional BI setup has been somewhere around 18 months. This is quite too long and too big. And moreover, the time to deliver one report using the traditional BI setup has been somewhere in 6.3 weeks time frame, which by all standards is too much for most of the businesses, and they cannot really sustain and wait for a decision to be taken based on this data, which would take 6.3 weeks to develop one simple report. Another scenario that we can see here is that there has been a lot of change in the industry, in the technologies area. Like Yahoo was the leader in terms of the web search. BlackBerry was the leader in the smartphone arena. Siebel was a king in the CRM space, and SAP and Oracle were both regarded as the BI king. But all of this has rapidly changed over the last few years, and the change that has come through is that Google has toppled Yahoo, Apple has toppled BlackBerry, Salesforce has toppled Siebel, and QlikTech has actually toppled both Oracle and SAP in the BI arena. What is that is common between all of these organizations? Simplicity. So simplicity is one factor which has driven the market so tremendously and has made so much of drastic changes that Google now owns the page rank search because of the simple interface that it provides. iPhone, as we all know, is the leader in the smartphone area now. Software as a service. So CRM applications now are available to the business users on the SaaS platform. And QlikView has the latest offering in terms of associative BI technology, which we'll talk about slightly later in our discussion. So all these companies have been able to drive through because of one factor, and that is simplicity. Simplicity in terms of usage, simplicity in terms of deployment, simplicity in terms of overall experience. So QlikView actually delivers a consumer-centric approach for the business softwares, and people actually love consumer experiences, be it Google, be it Skype, or be it iTunes. And why do people love QlikView? Because it delivers instant results, it's easy to use, it has an intuitive interface, it makes a lot complex looking analysis very simple, and the best part is that it has a self-service interface which you can use with minimal training and minimum coding. This is a slightly older report in terms of the growth, or let's say the phenomenal growth of QlikView, which started all the way from 2004 onwards. And if you look at the left section of the screen, it tells us the growth in terms of the number of customers that have grown right from 1500 in 2004 to being 15,000 in the year 2010. And if I were showing you the latest data, then the numbers are even more optimistic. While the right section of the data shows the revenue explosion. We can see very well that it started in the year 2005 from a modest revenue of $24.5 million. It has outgrown to $157.4 million, which is almost a 59% compounded annual growth rate. So the growth percentage has been really high in the initial years, right from 80%, and still sustaining the momentum till today, somewhere around 30 to 33%. QlikView has been able to break through into the market, which was actually a stronghold of the large enterprises, and the estimated market size was around $8.6 billion in 2010. And that was actually the stronghold of traditional BI solutions. What QlikView has done is that it has surpassed the boundaries of the enterprise size, be it large enterprises, mid-size, or the small-size companies, or the small businesses. And not only the power users, but also the business users or the third parties, partners, and customers. QlikView has expanded its growth and its outreach to almost every segment in this market. And the reason being is that it has proved to be a disruptive technology. It has been able to deliver a powerful way of looking at the data, and all of this in a very simple manner. If we just try to compare the market leaders in the BI area on two parameters, that is analytical capability and the user type, we can see that the leaders such as IBM, Cognos, or business objects from SAP, or Oracle, or Hyperion, all these tools are actually have a very high analytical capability, but at the same time they are a lot dependent onto the IT folks. You need a proper trained developer to deliver all your solutions in this space using these tools. While if I look at a slightly smaller version of a BI tool, and let's say that's our own favorite Microsoft Excel I'm talking about, it has a really low analytical capability in comparison to the earlier tools, but it is very friendly to the business community, and all the business users would be able to draw quick insights using Microsoft Excel. So these are the two extremes in the BI arena today, wherein onto these two ends we can put all the tools onto these coordinates. So where does QlikView fit in? So QlikView actually fits into the leader segment, and we can very well see that not only it offers a really high analytical capability, but it is also very friendly to the business users. It also helps make our data analysis job really simple. And the best thing is that it can consolidate information very rapidly from multiple data sources and can orchestrate information from n number of sources together into one single place. It offers a Google search like functionality, wherein just by typing out a partial phrase, it starts showing us the auto-completion features of all the related data. And last not the least, but it can also help us visualize data with best and the state-of-the-art graphics. It can connect to Salesforce data sources, Oracle, SAP data sources, business objects, Hyperion, Cognos, Excel sheets, or even pull data directly from a web page and show us a unified view into one single place. The traditional approach of search for any particular data element in the traditional BI tools has been a hierarchical route, which you can see onto the left side of the screen. Let's say I have to search for a salesperson named James. So I need to know the exact region he works in, which state does he works in, which product does he sell, and then I will be able to zoom down or point to the exact salesperson I'm trying to find out. And this approach, we can call it being the traditional approach or the IT-driven approach, which is actually linear, which is predefined thinking, and there might be a lot of insights that might be missed in the hidden data. And the biggest challenge is that in order to make even the slightest change, it might take months before the changes are being finally deployed into the production. And everything is actually data-centric. While this approach has been challenged and been modified while we work with QlikView, and which we can see onto the right of the screen, and QlikView has got a patented technology which it calls as associative search. So if I'm trying to find the same salesperson James, not only data related to James as a salesperson is being loaded in the system's memory, also all the other related dimensions such as its region it belongs to, the state he works in, and the product he sells, all of this would be simultaneously loaded into the memory. And we can do a quick visualization or quick analysis along all these dimensions. And this approach is actually user driven. It follows the user and all the data is always visible. It takes from a few minutes to just a couple of hours to make any changes to your data model and reload the data into QlikView application. And this approach is actually insight driven. QlikView also empowers the business users because it is working on a pull model which gives users what they need and when they need it. It can very easily analyze and drill down the key elements of the business. It can also very comfortably perform a lot of stats analysis like forecasting, trending, and doing what-if scenario analysis. It can create self-service custom apps and dashboards in a very comfortable manner with minimal inputs in terms of programming and coding. It also has a QlikView mobile interface which can actually show the business users the data that they're looking for on the move. You can access your QlikView based dashboards anytime onto an iPhone, an iPad, an Android device, or a BlackBerry. It gives you total freedom from the desktop and delivers dynamic and interactive data analysis with a lot of visual elements added to it, and along having a associative data search functionality, also with GPS sensitive filtering. You can do a social collaboration of the data sets and share it with the rest of the folks in your community. It's a collaborative business intelligence tool. You think, you build, and you share it. So any business user can create a QlikView app and you can mash them up into complementary apps like Google Maps or SharePoint. Not only you are nowhere restricted to only the out-of-box QlikView elements, but you can integrate QlikView extensions, which are the third-party products, into your QlikView dashboards and can really extend the feature or the capability of the existing QlikView dashboards. It can be scaled for a large data set by expanding the hardware infrastructure, and it can be scaled to meet the requirements of the largest global enterprises including Canon, Panasonic, Toyota, and the others that you see on the screen. It can support tens of thousands of connected users and process very quickly the billions of records depending on the infrastructure and the setup from the hardware perspective. It is having almost a perfect linear scalability in terms of data and the IT setup that you have. It can also support virtualization and cloud deployments. It has a deep manageability because it offers powerful, flexible, and easy console for measuring, monitoring, and deploying QlikView applications and data. It gives your IT team a single view into deployment status for every single or multiple servers based on your requirement. It has a centralized management capability which offers load balancing, administration, and refresh scheduling. In a way, QlikView is actually complementary to existing BI and CRM systems because it has a lot of inbuilt connectors for connecting to popular applications like SAP, SAP Data Warehouse, SAP BI, and Salesforce.com. It offers ease of access and analysis of business data, and thereby business users can better leverage their investments in existing business and warehousing assets. It also enables business users to take advantage of complex systems. And in a nutshell, I would say it offers the higher ROI on entire enterprise stack investment. What we see next is a quick snapshot from an IDC survey report regarding QlikTech. And here are some major outcomes of this survey that in terms of BI initiative success and satisfaction, 96% of the customers are satisfied with QlikView, and the ROI has been around 186% with a payback period of 6.5 months. And 44% of the total customers were able to deploy QlikView in 1 month, 77% of them were able to do it in 3 months, and there was actually a 50% reduction in the time taken to access an information and analyze that piece of information. These are just few popular customers. For a complete list of the QlikView customers, I would suggest to do a quick search onto the QlikView website for all its customers. QlikView has a unique land and expand approach, and how it works is that a group of business users can form a small work group with a specific business problem which your traditional BI cannot solve. And thereafter, once you have the solution, you expand it to one particular department. And once that department is having sufficient maturity, use QlikView, you expand it to multiple departments like finance, sales, and marketing. And once all the multiple departments that you are trying to work with, they have attained sufficient maturity in terms of deployment and usage of QlikView, you expand it to an enterprise-wide level wherein all your departments or the business entities are able to leverage QlikView. So actually it solves a problem in days or weeks using QlikView, and the IT team emerges as champion. The adoption of QlikView as an end user solution is also very high. So this just shows a flow or the kind of adoption wherein QlikView started with a small business group and really evolved into an enterprise-wide solution deployment. It's really easy to use, and it has groundbreaking advances in terms of search of data. With every new release of QlikView, we see there are new UI objects that are being added, and it has a really great usability for end user and the developers. Overall, it has the capability to give you the instant results for the business answers. It is really open and extensible because it offers you the capability to add your own visualizations. It has an open format for integrating data. It is also able to adapt to the APIs, including web search APIs for outside control of management tasks and data. And it has a simple workbench to integrate into websites. From performance perspective, it is really fast whether you use it onto the browser or you use it onto the native QlikView interface. It works really fast, and this is just a comparative in terms of performance with respect to different hardware configurations. The enterprise manageability is also really high because it has the capability to add metadata tags and comments, and it has the capability of separation of load and database threads from QlikView. The user management is completely centralized and has a section access management along with audit logs. All of this, along with the associative technology, is coupled with in-memory technique. And what I mean here is that QlikView does all its data analysis and the data holding that it has, it's through in-memory solution. It can easily consolidate multiple data sources, and it actually loads all the data into the system's memory. So it's a really memory intensive application, but enables real-time associative search and analysis. The traditional BI approach is that the data sources are being predetermined by the IT, and data has to every time go through ETL process, that is extract, transform, and load. Data is thereafter loaded into a data warehouse and modeled into cubes, and finally the data is being loaded into BI app. And if you look at this whole process, it's really time consuming and really tedious. And any point of time, if you have to make even a small change, the whole process has to start from step one, which makes it not only time consuming but really costly as well. So with this, I hope the introduction to QlikView was really clear and you were able to understand the broader business perspective behind using QlikView and how does it stand with respect to its immediate competitors. So for more technical know-how of QlikView, how to create dashboards, how to develop visualizations, I would suggest to go on to the next sections. So thank you all.